Hello, I am your oh so serious one who sometimes cares a little bit too much what you think. I'm Michelle Welch.
And I'm the not so serious one. Don't give a damn what you think. Your host, Roger Welch. So, what's up today, Michelle?
Well, so what is up is we have our new and dear friend, fast friend, Jim Barker with us.
Jim Barker.
I'm very excited you're here, actually, Jim.
Yeah, so let's talk about Jim. Jim is a palm reader and creator of the Divine Hand Method of Palmistry, a unique method of hand analysis that blends modern observations of body language with tradition palmistry. Jim has been a student of life and spirituality since he was a child, always fascinated by human beings' reach for the divine, and has a deep appreciation for the power of personal transformation. In addition to being a palmist, Jim is also a teacher and practitioner of holistic peer counseling, a chaplain and spiritual counselor within the earth-based spiritual community. Jim has served as director of pastoral care for the ATC Church, has offered numerous workshops on many spiritual and metaphysical topics, including psychic self-defense, prosperity, energy work, and, of course, palmistry. Jim owns and operates the Divine Hand Palmistry, offering hand analysis to the general public and teaching his methodology. Jim lives in Seattle with his husband and his proud stepdad and grandfather.
Well, he doesn't live with his proud. He is a.
Oh, is? Okay, wait.
That's
I will
right.
say, wait. Oh, it's a house full of people, Jim. Okay, and is a proud stepdad and grandfather. And
Yay. Hi, everybody.
Yeah. And you can find Jim at the divinehand.com or his Instagram at divinehandjim. Hey, Jim, how's it going?
It's great. It's great to be here with you guys. I'm so glad.
We're so glad that you're on this show this week, especially. We've been wanting to have you on since we met you in Portland because, first of all, you have such an infectious personality. Everyone's drawn to you like a magnet. It's true. And right when we first met you, you just instantly, you're kind of like, in a good way. Well, let me explain this because I don't really love the dentist, okay? I don't love the dentist, but you're kind of like a dentist, okay? Because, and you guys are all going to find this out in a good way, though. Let me finish the story before anybody judges this. So, Jim, you guys, everybody that's listening or watching, he is so good at palmistry and so intuitive and so just good at all things spiritual. You know it the minute you're around him, okay? Plus, he's really, really kind. So, but the minute he looks at your hands, he doesn't invade your space or anything. He reads them. And he asks permission, but he's like, may I? And you're like, well, okay. But it's kind of like your teeth. Now I kind of want to go, oh no, what am I showing in my hands? But in a good way. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
I mean, I love my dentist though, but I mean, you know how with your dentist you kind of want to go, okay, don't look. Let me show what rings do I have on today? I even looked. I was like, because you even look at people's rings and their hands and their palms, and you guys, he's amazing, and he is coming to Soultopia this weekend. Friday. So I want to talk. Let's just get right into that and let people know so that before they see and hear how great you are, if they don't know you, they'll know what we have coming up, and then we'll repeat it and we'll put it. We've been blasting it everywhere, but we'll put it in the links in this podcast too. So we are so glad that you're going to be at the Carrollton location, everybody. We want you to hear that. It's at the Carrollton location. And Pamita will be here also. And Pamita was on the podcast, I guess last week or something like that.
Yeah.
You're going to be teaching The Hands in the Cards, a palmistry and tarot mashup. And that's going to be on Friday night from 7:30 to 9:30. And I'll let you talk about a little bit about that.
It is so amazing.
That just sounds so amazing. That needs to be a book too. Okay, if you guys haven't written that one. And so,
Working on it.
Yeah, so that's just, nobody take that idea because that's already their idea. They're doing that. Okay, and so from 7:30, I'm just put that out there for everybody because they're already doing it. And from 7:30 to 9:30 on Saturday, you are teaching Love is in Your Hands from 4 to 6. And you guys, you're all going to want to sign up for this right after this podcast because it's going to be full. I'm going to be there, so I know y'all are all going to want to come. You're going to be there too.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
So
it's amazing to discover both of those. I mean, seeing how love expresses itself in your hands is such an amazing experience for people.
Yeah,
Lots of people will get demonstration readings. People will learn a ton about lovability and how they express love in their hands and how the hands help reveal that. You guys will love it, absolutely.
So I really want people to sign up for that. And then on Sunday, Pamita is teaching Make Magic with Tarot spell packets from 3 to 5. And
So
I did
fun.
that, participated, so did you, Erica. And we
Yeah.
talked about that when Pamita
I was there
on.
too.
Yeah, you were there. It was no room to sit in that one. So they're all going to be great. That's so pretty much the whole weekend. Also, you're offering private readings Saturday and Sunday, and there are only, you guys, a couple of time slots left for that. So there are some left, so don't think, okay, I've already missed it. But one of the things we did say, even when Pamita was on, was, look, you're also going to get to meet them by going to the class. They will talk to you. They will mingle with you. You'll get to hang out with them. It's not like you've totally missed out if you don't get a private reading. So these classes are a great opportunity. This is one of the things, and I'm not just saying this, one of the things, a set of classes and 2 people that I'm most excited that we've had at the store.
Oh, yeah. Well, and you're right, because when we were in Denver, and we met, that's actually when I got to meet you, but we went over and we saw you, and you were just wandering around, you were talking to everybody, you were showing them around the other place. Yeah, that was, because it's very interactive with everybody there.
Yeah, because people
It's
are
a lot
drawn
of fun.
to. Yeah, people are really drawn to you. They really are, and you're really, really friendly to everyone, which is something you're not
sweet.
standoffish. So
Yeah. No, I'm an extroverted person.
Yeah.
I'm an Aries. I love to love people. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, there's nothing better than meeting people and getting to know them. And when Pam and I do a class together, oh my gosh, we play off each other. It is hilarious. We're laughing. You guys will laugh the whole time. But all of our classes are great.
Yeah, I can imagine that. And I want to go back to the whole dentist thing because people are probably going, "What the heck is she? What the hell?" But you know what I'm talking about. Do people hide their hands from you?
You know, after they do. People hide their hands from me all the time. So you're exactly right. I love your analogy because it is one of the things, and I'll talk about my mission in this way. One of the things that's really interesting is the number one thing that people do when they respond to palmistry is when they find out I'm a palm reader, people go like this. I don't want to know. They hide their hands. They hide their hands behind them. They stick their hands in their pocket. There's a percentage of people that do that. And one of the reasons is because palmistry has a bad rap as being fatalistic, as predicting negative things like when you're going to die or weird things like don't cross the water after, on the 30th of the month or weird stuff like that. It's like it's got this bad rap. And what I have discovered through palmistry, why I created a method and why I'm teaching it, why I'm writing the book, is because palmistry reveals so much more than that. It is a pathway. It's like a map that shows the pathway to your highest and greatest expression. And every time I give people a reading, they always say, that was not what I was expecting. It's an amazing experience. And, that's why I really encourage people to come to a class, book a private reading, and check it out. It's a really cool experience.
And that is true because when you did look at my hands, it was nothing. It was all honest. It was quick. It was, and
you didn't have any cavities.
I didn't have any cavities. I have cavities. I just hid them. Did a lot of cover up on those cavities, right? But anyway, we're really looking forward to it, and I think it's going to be one of the most fun weekends we've had in a long time. Yeah, we have fun here,
too.
But yeah, and Roger spiffed up the back room for you.
I cleaned it.
Great.
Hey,
Thanks, Roger.
He's been working on it. Yeah. So hey, I cracked the whip since you were coming.
Yes.
Look, make it nice. Pamita and Jim are coming.
Yeah, that's
right.
exactly
what she said.
So you talked a little bit about your mission with what you want to accomplish with the things that you are doing now and the things that you're working on as far as books and other things that I know are coming out, decks, I feel like, all kinds of stuff with you. but how did you begin with palmistry and why?
Oh, yeah. So I was just an 11-year-old kid, and I went back east to visit my grandparents. And in my grandparents' attic, I found a little pamphlet, uh, and I read, and it was something from the 50s. Must have been one of my uncles or my dad's, and it said, "Your future's in your hands." And so I read this pamphlet about palmistry, and I was fascinated. And so I immediately read my brother's palm with this newfound information. And my little brother went to mom and was like, "Mom, Jim read my palms." And my mom is the Italian Catholic side, and she said she has this snap point that she does. "Don't do that. It's devil worship." And I was just like, okay, but just tell all the new parents out there, if you ever want to get your kid to do something, just tell them, "Don't do that. It's devil worship." Maybe she should have said, "Don't be a housekeeper. Don't clean your house. It's devil worship." Or, "Don't be a lawyer. It's devil worship." Then maybe I would do that. Oh wait, you're a lawyer, aren't you, Michelle? I forgot.
I was
And
told
I'm
it was
like,
devil
okay,
worship.
yeah, it's devil. See. But instead, I became a palm reader. So when I was 16, in my rebellion, I started reading palms at a little coffee shop in the town where I grew up, and then really started doing it in earnest after that. So I've been reading ever since. And the thing that's really bugged me has always been that fatalistic aspect of all the books. And so that's why I realized, the murderer's thumb is what the books will call a particular type of thumb, a hammer thumb. And I realized not all murderers have a hammer thumb, and not all hammer thumb people are murderers. And so it didn't make sense to me, the books that I was reading. And so I really developed my own method. And later in life, when I got my sociology degree, I applied sociology, anthropology, which is looking at body language of the hands, and palmistry together. And it's mind-blowingly cool how it goes together. So that's really what the readings are: very actionable, very pragmatic, very rooted in what's real for you. Yeah, it's cool. But you've had some people at the shop get readings, so they can
Oh,
tell
yeah,
you.
and they've been talking all about it too.
Well, and it's interesting because one of the things that we looked for in Dallas when we have events was we looked for a palm reader. And no offense to anybody in Dallas that is a palm reader, but we didn't find anybody that we wanted to bring in to the store. If there's somebody that's out there that I haven't talked to, I'm sorry. Not trying to be rude or offend you, but there just wasn't anybody that fit. And then we met you, and I was like, wow, okay, because it's something that everyone is really interested in right now. There's a resurgence, I believe. Maybe it's not a resurgence, but it feels like a resurgence to me of interest in palmistry, in all of these things that's new, but especially palmistry. We really have a lot of people that are just so fascinated by it. I know Erica's one of them. Erica's been reading books, and even after we met you, we were looking at stuff, and I was like, I'm going to bed. I'll have to get Jim to teach me, because I can't. Usually I can learn almost anything from a book, or I can intuitively kind of get it. Not that and astrology. They're hard to me, just saying. But
Well,
there's
it's
just
funny
not.
that the palmistry I do is a lot like astrology, because just like your stars, you're born with your chart, and good luck changing it.
Yeah.
If you don't like your astrology, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But any astrologer who tells you that an aspect or a planet in a certain house is a terrible thing and that you'll never get over it isn't a very good astrologer, because all astrology has its highest expression and all of astrology has its lowest expression. And that's the same in the palm. Your hand and its structures is actually way more changeable than your astrology is. And everything has its highest expression and its lowest expression. If you're doing a gesture or you have a mark, sure, that can be a challenge for on its lowest expression, just as much as it can be a strength in its highest expression. And so there's nothing. This is the big meme that I love to say is, there is nothing negative in your hand. There's nothing inherently irreversibly negative in someone's palm. Everything has its strength and everything has its weakness. And it's fantastic to learn what those things are and then know how to like play your strengths up.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Who is, I didn't know if you want to ask this, but I'll just go for it. Who's the most interesting palm that you've ever read, and why?
Yeah, easy. So the
Easy.
first time so I had been reading palms for like 15 years, and I had, and I wrote a blog article about this, and I had a man and woman that came to me. They were splitting a reading. People can split the hour reading, and it was a girl and her like best friend, and so I read his palm, and it was hilarious, and we were laughing. We had a great time, and then that was the first half an hour, and the second half an hour, I started reading her palm, and she gave me her hands, and I started doing this, which is really not like me, as you can tell. I usually don't have a problem with my gift for gab, but I could not handle reading her hands because something weird happened. A psychic experience came over me where a figure in white over her right shoulder was standing there in my mind's eye and started tapping me on the head and was like, "You have got to tell her about me." And I was really self-critical. I just really didn't like have faith in myself. And I thought, yeah, right, Jim, of course it's a figure in white. How dumb are you? Come on, be original if you're going to make something up, was the negative self-talk inside my head. And this little tiny voice, thank God for it, said, "Are you going to accept the gift that the divine has given you or not? Because this is your big test of faith." Whew, I get emotional talking about it. And so I took the leap of faith and I said to her, "Look, there's this figure over your right shoulder and it feels maternal and it feels like unconditional love and very strong protection and extraordinary remorse." And the woman pulled her hands back and said, "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have a mom. I was raised by foster parents." And I was like, the worst thing that a psychic palm reader can have is a client that's unhappy. And so I was like, "Well, you don't have to pay for the reading." And she said, "Oh no, I insist on paying." And so she paid. It was like 10 minutes into her part of the reading and they left. And then the 3 days, why is it always 3 days, right?
Right.
The 3 days of waiting and just wondering, did I hurt that girl? What happened? Maybe I should stop palm reading. I don't know. What the hell am I doing? And then the email came through and she said that her mother was a victim of a serial killer who was really famous here in Seattle. He had killed 27 ladies or something like that. And that she never had the chance to reform her life because that serial killer took that chance away. And that my connection with her was so profoundly healing that she could imagine herself having a mom and that she could start to realize that her mom is there with her and she could resume that relationship with her mom. And the end of her email said, "The best money I've ever spent." And I just thought, okay, we got to have people who have the gift. We have to have faith in our gift, and we have to, with compassion and with love and with always self growth in mind, but we really are required to have faith. And so that was the most profound reading I've ever had. It pushed me as a reader. I know it healed her. It was amazing for her. And so I can't guarantee that any of my clients will get mediumship experience during a palm reading because it only shows up when it wants to show up.
Right.
However, you always get a palm reading. And if the mediumship shows up, that's just extra. But that was the most moving. And since then, several other moving experiences similar to that have happened. And I'm just so thankful, to the divine that allows me to have this ability.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's important for everybody listening to hear, whether they're somebody receiving a reading or, and it does seem like it's that 3-day thing, but it's also the fact that you listened because so many of us, and it was early on, so I'm sure now you do listen, but even Even now, sometimes after all this time, there'll be that moment of really, that's what I'm supposed to really, that's
Yep.
that's what I'm supposed to deliver, and
Yep.
the fact that you were willing to do that is what made it the most interesting experience. And actually, I love that story because you didn't say this was the most famous person or it was the most whatever. You said the one that most profoundly actually changed her and changed you.
And changed me.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's really key is look for readers who are willing to do their own work. Look for readers who are doing, you can tell, are they, that you can tell when someone is doing their own meditation all the time, when someone is doing their own magical work, when someone is spiritually connected themselves, when they're challenging their own growth and well-being. That's the kind of reader that is there to help guide others, right? Because readers, we don't know it all. We are just other regular old failed human beings like you, excuse me, that just have a bit of a gift or have something that we can offer, a skill that we've honed over time, or a gift from the divine.
Yeah.
And we're sharing that with you. And I think that that's what makes a reader great is when they're willing to do their own work.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
Well said.
definitely.
Yeah. Well,
Ooh, it got all serious.
No, it's,
Yeah.
well, so speaking of not naming celebrities, now we're going to name that celebrity. We have a game. So we are going to pull you into the celebrity world here. So, Roger, you want to take over with that?
Okay. And we have.
So what you've done, you've sent me a bunch of photos, but all I have is celebrity 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you
That's
just tell, is that what's going to happen?
That's
Right.
right. And
So-
we're going to shoot them
Okay.
up on the screen, starting with number 1.
We're going to shoot them up on the screen, starting with number 1.
I
And
see.
Jim does not know, just everybody's listening, Jim does not know who these hands are, who they belong to at all.
Shit, I don't know who some of these are.
Okay.
Roger, you're funny. Okay, so celebrity number 1. This is the celebrity's right hand. The element of their hand is fire. So you can see they have long palms and short fingers. That is the hand of transformation. So whoever this celebrity is, one of the most important things about them and one of the things that they personally do is they're always involved in transformation and change. So they're always changing things, they're always transforming things. It's an important part of that. The gesture of the hand indicates, it's really interesting because their fingers are generally relaxed. So it shows that they're not in a place of taking action. And at the time of this photo was taken, you notice how the thumb is in a very weird position. The thumb is positioned in, like that end knuckle is bent down. So this celebrity at that point got a no. They got they were stopped from taking an action at the time that this photo was taken. And that may be contributing to their lack of action. You can tell their heart line, which is the line up at the top, closer to the fingers, that they're very emotional. They have a very emotional heart line. They love to interact with other people emotionally. The headline is really hard to make out. Same with the fate and lifeline. So I can't really make out those things on the hand. One thing that I will point out is this person's wearing a ring on their middle finger. So they are always looking for support with rules, boundaries, and limits and ethics. And when they don't wear that ring, they may find themselves, I think that they are very rigid in the way that they adhere to certain rules, boundaries, and ethics. So that's my quick read on that celebrity's hand.
Do you have a guess?
I have it looks like a female, but I have absolutely no idea.
Should we give a hint? It is a female.
I don't know who that is.
So, do you watch a TV show that's a series on Netflix that just was on? Okay. So that may be why, right?
So who is it?
It's Millie Bobby Brown.
Do we know anything about her?
So which one is that, Erica?
What show?
It's Stranger Things.
Oh, Stranger Things?
So everybody, we're going to move on quickly because I watched it and I've watched all 3 episodes, and so has Roger. You can Google that really fast, but I'm not sure
Okay.
which one that is. Does anybody know in the room?
Well, that should be a great comment in the comment section.
Oh, it's
right?
11. It's 11. It's L. That's
It's
what I thought it
L.
would be. It's L. So it's like the main character. She's the one with all the powers. She's the one with
Next.
the psychic powers. Oh, that's really cool, though. Yeah, that's
We have to know
interesting. I
something
don't know
about the
about her
person.
personality. I don't know about her personally. I just know about her. I bet she had received some no's before she got on that show, though.
Yeah, it's interesting. That
Yeah.
thumb
All right, let's
is
go
a
to the
very
next
interesting
one.
gesture.
You will know the next one.
I will. Okay.
Yes.
Celebrity number 2. This is their right hand. This hand is earth and fire together, which is the lava hand. Lava handed people, when you have earth and fire together, it's transformation of the physical. So this person is always trying to change physical things. People who are builders, people who are personal trainers, people who are looking to see their changes have effect in the world with money and with physical things. The gesture is very interesting because this hand is very passive. The thumb is in, so the thumb is held close to the hand. So this person doesn't want to take any direct action. They want to have their minions do it or people do it. And the pinky is forward, and so that's not bent. It's just tipped forward. So that shows trouble with communication. That this person struggles to communicate or tries to communicate, but is troubled with communication. The heart line is really curved and goes right up between the first and second finger. And so this is a very emotional person. An emotional heart on a lava hand, it can be really volatile. It can be a little bit dangerous. This person can be prone to take action based on their whim and their emotion. So this can be a little bit tough that way. The fate line and lifeline, this person has a life of creating karma. This is a life where they're creating drama, they're creating lessons for themselves to resolve in future lives. The special features that I notice on the hand is they're very focused on results, and they will throw away long-term things for short-term gains. That's the shape of the fingers, the very spatulate, very rounded shape of the ends of the fingers. They're really looking for the right now, not for the long term. And that also can be a negative part of that can be obstinate. A positive part is they can really get shit done. Sorry to use a word, one of Roger's words. they can,
Hell, Jim.
they can really like get stuff done. This is the hand of lava. Lava builds new islands. It builds new land. It is like building, but also destructive. And so this is a hand of someone who could be really great or really destructive. It depends on how they're using it and who it is.
Wow, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You want to tell him?
It's the
Who
queen.
is it?
The queen.
Queen Elizabeth.
Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, wow. Queen Elizabeth definitely does not take action. Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting because she has other people do stuff for her. Yeah, I'm going to listen back to that because I thought a lot of that was right on.
She does not communicate directly often, and when she does, she's always had trouble with being very stiff. You know, but I love that she is. It's so great to see that the queen has this emotional heart line. Maybe that's why she has such a shell on her, because look at that heart line is curved from the pinky all the way up to the first and second finger. That swooping heart line means, well, why else would she have all those corgis and have all that love? You know,
That's where she puts it.
beautiful.
Yeah, because she has to be so rigid. Yeah. So let's go with number 3. All right.
Celebrity number 3. So I love this because this is an earth hand and an air hand combined, which is the dust hand. So that is, ideas have to be grounded in physical reality. So this person can take ideas and bring them into physical manifestation. The gesture of the hand being out in a really wide stance, this means this person is ready to handle things. They're ready to take on the world. The heart line is straight across the hand. It doesn't curve like Queen Elizabeth's. This is a very pragmatic heart line. The person is like, I'll love someone who is my team player. So they're not going to be very effusive with love. The headline is detached from the lifeline, and it's very long all the way across the hand. So they're a very scientific thinker. Their thought process can be very long, very stretched out, and very detached from emotion. The life and fate lines are really interesting because this person has a huge purpose in life. They're always purpose driven, and they're here to complete lessons. They're here to complete things. The special features I see, there's an injury to the index finger. You see that Band-Aid on the index finger. So that's related to an issue in leadership, especially in this person's foresight in their leadership.
Interesting.
Is it Johnny Depp?
It is.
From the hair. I can tell from the hair.
It is
Oh,
Johnny
it is
Depp.
Johnny
Oh, you
Depp.
should have just not said because you did so great. That's it.
Yes.
Bam. Good.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
These are things I didn't know about him. It's really cool.
Yeah. It's
But
very
whenever
interesting.
somebody has an injury on their hand, that is such a telling thing. You can tell so much about the metaphysical side or the unconscious side of where that injury is coming from, what it represents. It's always spot on, but it's
Oh,
always also
interesting.
time centered. So if anyone ever like injures their hand, put it up on my Instagram or send me a direct message and I'll share it on Instagram.
I should
It's
have
not
when
too
I had
gross.
I broke my pinky from my son throwing a
Oof.
perfect spiral right into it, and then I played volleyball the day after. So yeah, index
Jeez.
finger broken. I drove around like this for like 3 months. Like I'd be
What
driving.
finger did you break?
It was my index finger, but I would never bend it. So I would drive around like the loser symbol, like this, like everywhere I went, because I would just hold it.
Everybody thought you were waving at them.
And Michelle, is that your right hand?
It's
you're
my
holding up?
left,
Yeah.
because opposite.
Oh, your
yeah.
left hand.
Yeah.
So your left index finger is your power, is your leadership, agency, sovereignty in your personal life.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you got that injury, when you broke that finger, that was also a time at which there was something that has to do with your power and agency in your personal life, your personal time, your family, your time management personally, all those kind of things were related to that injury. So if you think about the time period when you broke that, that's what would have been going on, is
100%.
something around your leadership, sovereignty in your personal life.
100%. Exactly right. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, exactly. Do we want to do more? Okay, so we're up for number 4.
Number 4.
Celebrity number 4. This hand. Okay. This is the person's left hand. This one threw
You
me,
know
so
this
I'm
one.
just going
He
to go
knows
with
it
it.
already.
Do I know this person?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yes,
So
you
air. Okay, so this is an air and water hand mixed together. And so you see the long palm and long fingers? That is a water and air hand together, which is the mist hand. So mist is bringing feelings and emotions and ideas together. This is a person that bridges emotions. Like there might be very strong emotions or lack of emotion, and this person will bring the thoughts and ideas to it. So they'll bring those together. The gesture is really interesting. Do you notice on this photo how the two middle fingers, the middle finger and the ring finger, are being held pressed together, and the other two fingers are sort of separate from each other? This shows that this person is highly ethical, that they pride themselves on their ethical stance, their ethics, rules, and boundaries. The thumb is at a 45-degree angle and is very tapered. So this is a person whose well able to take action, but their actions will have finesse. That's that tapered thumb. And sometimes their actions aren't strong enough. We might want their actions to be stronger. The heart line is just like the Queen Elizabeth. It is highly emotionally available. This person is very, very loving, very emotionally available, especially on the left hand with their family and people that are close to them. The headline is detached from the lifeline. So this is a person who engages in a lot of scientific thinking, a lot of professorial type of or scientific type of thinking. And then the fate and lifeline. So this person has a very strong fate line, but it's not attached to their lifeline. So the fate line goes all the way up to the heart line. And so there's something really amazing about this person is a celebrity because they had a fate to fulfill in the world, and you can see it on that fate line, which is that line right down the middle of the hand, right underneath the middle finger. So the lifeline is very much influenced, I also have to say, by a sister line, which is a deceased relative. So I wouldn't be surprised if this person was maybe an author and maybe talked about how a relative inspired them who had died or something like that, because they have a very strong sister line on the inside of their lifeline.
Who is it? Because I think you described this person very well.
Is it long? Who's this tall, thin celebrity? Because I always think of that when I see these hands. I'm really bad at celebrities.
It's a political figure.
Oh, it's not Trump, is it? No.
No.
I mean, that'd be fine.
It's not.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Go the
His hands are
opposite
too big.
direction.
His hands are too big. Is it Obama?
It is.
It is.
No
You got it.
kidding.
I think you described him very well. I'm very
Huh.
interested to see about the sister line or whatever you said, but I haven't. I've read
didn't
Michelle's
his
book, but
father
I haven't
die?
read.
Didn't he write a book, The Dreams of My Father, or something? Or his mom died of cancer?
I-
Isn't that
I
true in
think he did.
Hawaii?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. I've read Michelle's
Fascinating.
book. I haven't read his. So
Oh my God, isn't Michelle's book awesome?
yes.
Ah,
Let's do a whole
love it.
show on
Okay,
that.
now what?
Okay, so the next one. Should we skip one or do both of them? Okay,
One more.
so do you want me to do 5 or 6? Okay, we're going to do number 5. You ready?
All right, celebrity number 5. So I'm looking at her right hand. I'm assuming it's a her, I can tell. Look at that air hand. This is the hand that you see on the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck on the Queen of Swords. Shorter palm and long fingers. The Queen of Swords, I mean. The element is air, which is thoughtful. This is a person who's very thoughtful, who's very much a thinker. Air is about intellect, logic, all those kind of things. But they may overthink things because there's a lot of other things in the gesture that show that this person may be suffering from some insecurity. Their middle finger is hyperextended, which means it's overly bent, overly extended. So this person may be trying to stick to rules, struggling with rules. The index finger is also hyperextended, and she's wearing that big old ring on her index finger. And so that is trying to be powerful or overextending her power. The thumb is bent at the knuckle, which means she's not actually doing things. She's been also kept from taking action. So that's an interesting hand gesture that's happening. The positive side is she definitely is like jump in and have opinions. So I bet you we all know what she thinks.
Yeah.
She's an emotional thinker, so and her heart line is also emotional. So this could be a person that does respond to emotions. But she also can ruminate. She can think about things. So I bet you she has a lot of stuff happening on Twitter. I have no idea. I'm not on Twitter, but that would be the kind of celebrity that would do that. So the life and fate line are too faint to see. So that's mostly what I see there. Oh, her pinky is out. So notice how her pinky is sticking out, and that is she's always communicating. So that's why I mentioned the Twitter thing, because I feel like this person is probably always out there communicating, always out there.
Well, you're right. I
hope
think
I'm
about
right.
most
I don't
all of
know.
it. We'll just tell you who it is for time's
Yeah.
sake. You want to say?
Yeah.
Selena Gomez,
Selena Gomez. She's a
Oh.
singer. You know who she is?
pop singer.
Pop singer. Didn't she
Oh,
used to
that's
date
cool.
Justin Bieber? Yeah. So a lot of
Okay.
our listeners will know. Yeah, Justin Bieber.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah, she is gorgeous actually, and she communicates and tweets all the time. So yeah, Instagram
That's cool.
and tweet. Yeah, so you're right on a lot of that. So we have a
Fun.
time, yes, for you.
We
Jim
have a
has.
giveaway.
Oh, we didn't do the giveaway.
We're gonna give a giveaway.
Okay,
Giveaway.
do it quickly.
All right.
Yeah, what's the giveaway?
So, in case y'all weren't paying attention when Jim was talking, he also talked about.
Of course they were. They were
position
all
of
paying attention.
rings. So one thing when he does look at your palms, he's looking at position of rings. So tonight we are giving away a ring. This
It's
is one of our
pretty.
druzy agate rings.
It's sparkly.
And if you were paying attention in the beginning, Michelle was talking about another career, not her own, but somebody else that was like palmistry, that people didn't want to see their hands, didn't want to see something else. What other career was that first person to tell us what other career that was?
Wins the ring.
Wins the ring. Yeah, we're
That's
paying
nice.
attention. Erica, you paying attention over there?
Okay.
All right, good.
You'll let us know when they get it.
That's great.
I'm sure they all know it because they were probably all cringing, going, "What the heck?" Oh, Leslie already got it. We already have a winner.
Got a
Ding,
winner.
ding, ding,
Ding,
ding,
ding.
Leslie already
Oh.
won.
It was on YouTube.
It was on YouTube. Good. Okay.
Congratulations, Leslie, on YouTube.
Congratulations,
There you
Leslie.
go.
And when she wears it, you can read. So is anybody else just like walking now? Are y'all going like this?
Right. Every person is probably doing this
I know.
now.
I'm like, okay, does my
Do I have
I'm
that
gonna
on?
walk
do
around my
that?
hands in my pocket while you're
No,
here.
I like it though. See, I want him to read them. But so like, no, you won't, because I want him to see yours.
Let's see.
All right, so here we go.
You guys are gonna love it.
No, we know we know we love it already. So Jim has decided, you guys, kindly decided to give really brief readings. These are not going to replace you guys coming in and taking part.
That's right. Get your butts in here.
I think I only have 2 spots open. I tried to book myself, and I'm
So
like,
come-
there's only 2 spots.
So also,
Yeah.
and come into the classes, because remember, you're going to get to interact
Yeah.
with Pamita and Jim too. But we have photos. First of all, the first one is from, should I give the name? Okay, we'll just give first names. From someone named Carla. Okay, and these are listeners. Hopefully they're on tonight. Is Carla
Yeah.
on? Carla
If not,
is
they
on.
can watch the
So Carla
recording.
is on right now, listening, Jim. And so
Great.
here's her picture, and she's on listening.
Great, Carla. This is your left hand. And so you unconsciously are asking for, you didn't realize, a reading about your personal life. And so what's cool about your hands, Carla, is that you have fire hands. So people with fire hands are often referred to in fiery ways, right? Oh, that Carla's a spitfire. She's got some fire to her. She's got some spunk. And so this is a fire hand. Fire-handed people are all about transformation and change. They love to see things change. They love transformation. Especially the only time fire hands have a hard time transformation is when it's not their idea. And this is true for you because you have that index finger that is forward, and that's showing that at the moment, along with some other stuff in your hands, it looks as though you're having to take on responsibilities that are a little bit outside your job description, a little bit outside, and I say job description, but I do mean your personal life. There's maybe you're caring for someone that you haven't had to care for before. You have an extra burden or something else that's happening in your personal life where you're having to take on leadership and responsibility for other folks. Your thumb is out at a 90-degree angle, almost over a 90-degree angle, so you're no problem taking action. If you want something done, give it to a busy person. That's you. Your pinky's out. You're definitely complaining about it to people. You're talking about what's going on with people. I love your heart line. There's a lot of emotion, but also some discernment. Past experiences with emotion and with relationships have led to a lot of discernment that you have, in that you're cautious in getting involved emotionally with people, but when you do, you're in. That headline is short, connected to the lifeline, and decisive. It's a very fiery trait. You can be someone who can make a decision and make it pretty quickly. Last thing I'll say is you have an editor line on your thumb, and that's that line that's just located right here on your thumb. It's a really great trait, and I think that has you have an opportunity to write or to use your written communication or your communication skills in a really profound way. So I would look at that.
I'm just going to say wow in case she
Actually,
didn't.
she did. She said, wow. Oh, my gosh.
Oh my gosh. When you meet her, hopefully I don't know if she's going to be able to come in town. She lives in Oklahoma, but
haven't heard from
oh my gosh is all. I can't, it's not for me to divulge, but OMG. You guys, he's amazing. I'm
So
just going to
from
tell
what
you.
you know, it seems to match
Yes.
from what
Oh.
you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dead on.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So are we ready for number 2?
Well, I'm glad to read your hands, Carla. Thank you for sending
Thanks,
it in.
Carla, for letting Jim. Yeah. Wow. All right.
Want to do it again?
So we are ready for number 2. Her name is Janice.
Janice sent in both of her hands. So she sent in her right hand and her left hand. I'm going to focus on Janice's right hand because it's a little more extended. But if you look at these photos, just one little thing I'll have you notice is on the one hand, on the right hand, she has her thumb out, and on her left hand, where you can see that red fingernail, her thumb is in. And so one of the things that's happening is Janice is feeling, this would indicate that Janice is able to take action in the world, like at work, what she does out in the public life. But in her family life, there's a little bit of a inability to take action. There's something that's sort of held back or stymied just temporarily. So there's an issue like that's going on just temporarily. One of the things I love about Janice's hands is her air hand. So again, these are shorter palms and longer fingers. And her gesture shows that her middle finger on both hands is the most extended. Now, of course, you're going to laugh at that. That middle finger is about rules, boundaries, and limits. So one of the most important things for Janice to focus on right now is rules, boundaries, and limits. That's the planet Saturn, and how that moves in your life. And I love how it's not rigid. She's not holding that finger straight out. It's slightly bent. And so don't be fundamentalist about things or overly draconian about things, but definitely you're looking at holding to those rules, boundaries, especially boundaries with people is a really important thing. Your heart line is a very pragmatic heart. Yes, you're emotionally connected to people. You love to be emotionally connected, but you have that's where you can really have a lot of limits and boundaries with your heart. Your headline is detached from your lifeline and very long. So this is a woman who thinks and thinks and thinks. She will think about things and think about things all the way across that hand. And so it's a fabulous headline of thinking and thinking. What you want to watch out for is rumination. If your thoughts keep you up at night or things like that. But I just love these thinkers are amazing. Finally, I'll say you have a double editor on your thumb, on both of your thumbs. So writing and communication should be a huge part of your therapeutic approach and just keeping you sane. And then you have a lot of energy lines. So on all your fingers, moving energy is a really gifted thing. I could see that if you have healing hands, if you place your hands on someone, I bet you would be very comforting, and that you could look at that. One of the gifts of the Holy Spirit is laying on of hands, and you could look at that as something to develop if you're not already doing it.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much for, yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much. You guys, you can see how awesome he is.
That was too much fun.
Yeah, you're amazing. So we can't wait for you to get into town and see you this weekend. You guys, I just want to remind everyone to, we'll put the links below this podcast, so everybody will have the links. They're all over the place. They're in our emails. They're already there. The links are already there. Just want to remind you that the classes are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can come to any and all. They're going to be great. Thank you so much, Jim. I think we are out of time, so we want to thank you. We will see you Friday. And I also just want to remind everybody to please be sure to follow and like Soul Wet on all the podcast platforms, and especially whichever ones you guys follow, and on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook and like us, share us, and also Michelle Soultopia on YouTube. And thanks for listening to Soul Wet, where we discuss and you decide what is important to your soul. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jim.
Bye, everybody.